Can you tell me a little bit about Victory Capital?
Certainly. Victory Capital, we are a global investment manager. We're a publicly traded company on the NASDAQ. We are proudly headquartered in San Antonio, Texas, which is also known as Military City, USA. And for those of you who don't know, we have one of the largest concentration of Army bases in the country, as well as one of the largest veteran communities in the US. So we manage investments for a number of different types of clients. These include large institutions like corporations and pension funds. We manage money for financial advisors. And most importantly, we help individual investors save for their retirement, their education, their wealth management, and help them meet a number of different goals. Very excited to tell you that last year we were awarded by Fortune. We were in the top 10 of their Fortune 100 fastest growing companies in the United States. And you can get a lot more information about Victory Capital at vcm.com. That's victorycapitalmanagement.com. We have a whole host of resources available for individual investors, free resources for education and for servicing and managing your investments.
Oh, that's so helpful. Thank you. And very impressive with your designation. That's very exciting. I want to get started with understanding the difference between savings and investments. As you know, PCSgrades provides services to military and veteran families all over the country. For many of our viewers, investing is pretty new. Most of us have a checking and savings account. However, investing, as you know, is a little bit different. How can we become more financially aware?
Good question, Kessa. Financial awareness, it's really a mindset about how to manage money for the long term. And really, if you have a financially aware household, you think about your money in three different buckets. One, savings. Two, an emergency fund. And third is long-term investments. Now, we often get this question about what's the difference between saving and investments. So the way I like to describe it is savings is really what's left over after you're paying for your everyday expenses, your rent, your groceries, your gas. It's everything that's left over from that. However, you also need to keep some money aside as an emergency fund, which means for things like if your car breaks down, your roof needs redoing, things that you can't really predict when they're going to hit or what the nature of it is going to be, but you should set aside some money for emergencies. And then what's really left over is what you can contribute to investments, because what we usually find is savings usually are not enough to meet your long-term needs. And when I say long-term, I mean a home, a car, planning for your retirement, paying for your kids' education over the long term. Usually, if you just have your savings, that's typically not enough. And this is where investments can help put your money to work for you over the long term. And that's the good news. Over the long term, you do have the potential for your money to grow. Now, there's obviously a potential for loss, but time is your friend when it comes to longer term investing, if you think about it in these three categories of savings, emergency funds, and investments. And now you have a lot of different choices of how to invest your money. Mutual funds, stocks, bonds. It's a pretty long list. But for most investors, those three asset classes usually suffice for most of your typical investing needs. And again, we have a lot of different resources available at Victory Capital, where you can go in and learn about the basics of investing, learn about what's going in the markets. And what we try to do is make investing approachable. There is a perception that it can be daunting, but it really doesn't have to be. And it's in your best interest to learn and get educated, and we're here to help. And sometimes we find the easiest way to explain investing is just speak to somebody on the phone. So just call us. That's probably the easiest thing. Speak to one of our specialists. They'll explain it to you, from the basics.
Oh, that's so helpful. I don't think you'll find a military spouse across the world who doesn't have a story about the importance of having an emergency expense fund, especially during a deployment. But I think investment definitely feels a little more daunting. So I appreciate that. And let's talk a little bit about financial planning for our children or grandchildren. What can you share with us as far as planning for our children's or loved ones' education?
Absolutely. Now, as a parent of a very active 8-year-old, this topic is near and dear to my heart. The good news about education planning is usually you have time because your kids only can grow at a certain age. They grow a year every year. And you typically can plan ahead of time for when they might go to college, which is a typical point of time where people need the most money to pay for education. Now, for the important thing is, unfortunately, that the cost of education continues to rise. Now, did you know, on average, in the US, a year of college costs $35,000. And this is on average between public and private. And that cost of education has doubled in the past 20 years. And as you know, if you're reading the headlines, inflation is all over the news. Unfortunately, these college costs have risen faster than inflation in the past. And so, the future is not looking very good for the cost of education. And so it's very important to start planning now. Luckily for military families, many of you will be eligible for some aspects of the GI Bill. Now, the specifics will obviously vary person to person, depending on how much of those benefits you might have consumed, how much you can pass on to your children. And that's a good discussion to have by speaking to one of our specialists who can help educate you about the different options you have for education savings. Just remember, the good news here is time is on your side. And there's a number of different types of products that you can use to consider for education savings. One of the most popular ones in the country is called the 529 plan. And 529, don't ask me why, it's one of those government things like 401ks and other things. There's no rhyme or reason, it's just a 529 plan. But the benefits of those are many. The first thing is you don't pay federal tax on the earnings over time, which means you put more of your money to work for you over the long term. The second thing is when you withdraw the money to pay for qualified expenses, again, you don't have to pay federal tax on it. And the good news is there's so many different types of qualified expenses: tuition, room and board, computers. There's a pretty long list of different types of expenses that you can qualify for. And it's not just about college, vocational schools, certain higher education, all those things can be covered. We have a long list available to you. The other thing is anybody can contribute to a 529 plan. One, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, anybody can contribute. In fact, it makes a fantastic birthday gift. Now, I know it's not the most exciting thing for a 8 or 10 or 12-year-old to receive a 529 plan contribution, but in the long term, they'll probably be more thankful when they don't have to take that additional loan, or it enables them to actually go to the college that they want to. There's a lot more information available on our website at vcm.com/529, where you can go and learn about all the different education savings options available to you.
Oh, that's wonderful. I think maybe I'll ask my parents to give me a contribution to my children's 529 for my birthday presents from now on. I'm very excited about that. I'm not sure my 10 and 11-year-old would be as excited to get a contribution, but certainly I would. That is wonderful.
And anybody can contribute, and it serves as a gift, and it all goes towards a good cause because you can only use it for education-related savings.
Absolutely. And what a gift that keeps on giving rather than something that's going to get thrown out in a year. That's wonderful. I want to switch gears a little bit and talk to you about paychecks. So what can you share with our young men and women in service who are earning their very first paycheck? What are the benefits to investing early in their military career for our new service members?
Well, firstly, congratulations. And secondly, thank you for your service to the nation. Now, again, if you're early in your career, the good news is time is on your side. Investing is typically done for the long term, and hence the years of income that you are going to earn over time can all be put towards, some of it can be put towards investments, which helps you over the long term. The first thing that we typically discuss with investors is define your goals. What is it that you are trying to save for? Is it just for personal wealth? Is it for education? Is it for retirement? It helps to try and define what your goals are. And what we usually find is sometimes it's easier for an investor to speak with a specialist that helps them articulate what is it that they're truly saving for. So that's number one. Two is you need a plan. And typically a plan just helps you identify what you're saving for, how much you might want to contribute over time. We have some great tools available at Victory Capital. One of it is our portfolio planner, which is a simple tool. And in under about 10 minutes, you enter some information about your goals, about your risks, about your choices, and it gives you a recommendation for a potential investment portfolio that you might consider. I would say one of the most tried and tested investment strategies for investors, especially over the long term, is what's called an automatic investment plan. And this is simply putting aside a set amount of money every month, every few weeks, that you can put into specific investments like mutual funds. The benefits of an automatic investment plan is it's almost like putting your savings or investments on autopilot. It happens regularly. You don't have to think about it too much. You insulate yourself a little bit from the emotional ups and downs of the market. And it can be set up pretty easily online. Now, there's no guarantee that you're going to gain from an automatic investment plan. There's always a potential for loss in an investment. However, it's a time-tested strategy. The other advantage of an automatic investment plan, especially over the long term, is markets are volatile. They go up, they go down. One of the typical benefits of one of these automatic investment plans is you can take advantage of dollar cost averaging because you're buying when the markets are up, the markets are down. And in general, if you do that over time, you can typically expect a lower cost of ownership of these stocks or mutual funds or bonds, whatever you're buying over time.
Oh, wonderful. Now, I know you're based in San Antonio, Texas. For folks to work with you, do they need to be in San Antonio as well, or can you help service members wherever they're stationed?
We have investors in all 50 states who work with us. It's all via our website, vcm.com. We have a mobile app called the Victory Capital mobile app, or easiest, just call us. Just call us. We're open 5 days a week. You can speak to any one of our representatives or our licensed specialists, and they can start you on an investment plan from, whether you're just, it's your first investment account or whether you've been in the markets for decades, they can help you.
Oh, that's so helpful. Is there anything else you want to tell our audience about some of the services you provide?
We offer a number of different educational resources that I encourage your audience to participate in. We have events that we do every quarter that you can join, listen in, and hear directly from our investment professionals about what's going on in the markets, what are they looking out for, and get some good advice on just general basics of investing that at the same time are actionable, that you can actually take action on and help become a more educated and better investor to meet your own financial goals.
Wonderful.
Remember, investments do have the potential for loss and the potential for gain. So always think about it with respect to both your desire for a reward as well as your tolerance for risk. An automatic investment plan is no guarantee against loss because it has the potential to go up and the potential to go down over time.
Makes sense. Perfect. Well, I think that's about all the time we have today. Nikhil, I cannot thank you enough for being here with us today, for educating our audience about the opportunities for investment, as well as contributing to a 529 plan and really building generational wealth. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Tessa. Thank you to you and to PCSgrades for having me on. It's been a pleasure. To all of you listening and watching, thank you very much for your service to the nation. We at Victory Capital are here to serve you. We want to help you make better investment choices for your own financial future. Remember, just visit us at vcm.com or give us a call. We're happy to help. We're here to serve you. Thank you.